All right, folks, it is the guy with the bow tie checking in with you live for another edition of Business of Benefits. To my right, you will see Christine Tay. And let me make sure I get your name. I've seen Christine this whole time, but I haven't helped on your last name. Help me out.
Yeah, Christine Tay.
Tay, okay.
Yep.
My wife goes by Tay as one of her nicknames, so I should know that. But well, thanks for joining me. I know you had a busy day, and we're here live. I'm in the East Coast in the Eastern time. How's the weather where you are?
Yeah, I live in Silicon Valley and it's actually pretty sunny right now. So I had to close the blind behind me, otherwise it's gonna be blinding you.
Well, thanks for joining me. I want to say, first of all, thank you for hashtag Team Live. If you're Team Live, let us know where you are. And then also hashtag Team Replay. Either way you watch us, we appreciate it. And Christine is a phenom when it comes to LinkedIn and money as a financial coach. So for the people that haven't seen you on their feed before, don't know who you are, kind of let them know who you are and why they should listen to you.
Yeah, so I'm a financial coach. I started my business September 2016. So I help people, help them with their relationship with money. So if you have issues around your debt, cash flow, and just in general, like you just don't feel good about your money. So there's some things that I can help you with. So basically, it's built on the foundation, like, asking yourself, how is your relationship with money? So if you can answer the question, I have a great relationship, then there's something that I can help you with.
Okay, perfect. So tell everybody about LinkedIn, how you got on here. I'm going to say congratulations. You're at 40,000 followers now. That's awesome. So kind of talk about your start with LinkedIn and where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So actually, if you haven't seen my post today, I actually posted about all the clients I've had on LinkedIn year to date. So I started my LinkedIn journey in September 2016. So basically, I not 2016, sorry. So September 2019 last year. So I basically just started. I just wanted to find a social media platform where my clients are, which is working professionals. So I decided, LinkedIn is a place to be. So then I dedicate a lot of my time. I just started engaging on LinkedIn, and then just built my following, posting daily, posting valuable content, whatever my audience will find valuable. And then that's just how it works. And then now I'm at 43,000 followers. So it's been a great ride so far. And LinkedIn has, given me good leads and good clients and meeting people like you.
Oh, thank you for that. So before you started, what do you think was the catalyst for you? Because a lot of people watch this. They're like, how do you get LinkedIn Live? How do you get engagement? So what was the one thing you think you did that kind of helped you start securing clients from LinkedIn?
So I think I started in September last year. So you can't be in the mindset of you're gonna show up on LinkedIn and then these clients are gonna come to you. So you can't be.
Yeah.
You have to come from a mindset of like you're building your following, you're building your personal brand. Okay, so
Hmm.
you have to earn the the know, like, and trust factor. So that's really important. So how do you earn that? So you show up, you post valuable content that your audience can actually get something from it. So that's why when
Hmm.
I posted on Friday, I even said like all the questions I go through before I post. So I asked myself, does this post give value to my clients? Okay, so what kind of value can it provide them? So will this make them laugh? Okay, so I post funny pictures sometimes because everyone likes to laugh. So tomorrow I have a funny post. So and then is this inspirational because everyone always could use a pick me up, and then also mainly also around money and money mindset. So will they learn something new about money or how to view money? So those are all how my post revolves around.
Okay, so what do you think when you say relationship with money? I think people hear that, but it's kind of a concept. So what do you when you define the relationship with money, what does that actually mean for people?
Yeah, so relationship with money is just basically you know how to take care of money. Okay, so
Hmm.
let me give you a good example, like it's coronavirus right now, right? So of course, like everyone, like is most people are freaking out, right? They're losing their
Right.
jobs. They might, I don't know, for the ones who have a job, so that's they're very lucky, that's good. So if you have a great relationship with money, then you're not freaking out about this because you already set yourself to a great foundation. And that's what I help my clients. If you have a really good foundation with money, you set yourself up for whatever will happen. Like I even wrote an article like, what if you get laid off? So people shouldn't be afraid of being laid off because if you have, if you have your emergency fund, you have your investments, you grow your wealth, and then you have your retirement. So you're not afraid of stuff that will happen like this. So you're not at the
Hmm.
mercy of events because you already have that strong foundation with money, and then you set everything up correctly. that you're not afraid of whatever that will happen external events.
Okay, and I think we was talking about that. This is like America had a heart attack, in my opinion, with finance. I mean, the stock
Yeah.
market's going crazy, the oil markets are going crazy. People are unemployed. So, what do you think is when you're coaching somebody in their relationship with money? What's the hardest challenge for you to get over as a coach with them?
hmm So the hardest part is really just to get them paying attention to their money. Most people who come to me, well, almost everyone who comes to me, they don't even have a budget. Like they just like they don't know where their money goes. So that was the biggest struggle. So I have to get them on a budget. So I have to get them to be comfortable with just paying attention to their money. Where does money go? So it's an exercise to get them into the habit of awareness. So that's really the first step. And then usually a lot of people think budget is such a negative word. I'm like, oh, what's budgeting? So I have to work them on, like, budget is not necessarily a bad thing. It means like you're the boss, your money is your employee, so the
Hmm.
budget is there so you can actually tell money where to go. So you're
Okay.
the boss. Hmm.
I like that. That's a good way to look at it. 'Cause I think most people think budget box me and constrain me, stop me from doing things. But if you look at it like a business, then it's a good thing.
Hmm.
So you said young professionals. Is there a reason you prefer them? Is it like they have less bad habits, or why is it the young people you think?
I don't turn away clients. I think if clients come to me and I can see I can help them, then I will accept them if they're committed to the help. So I have clients everywhere, like older clients, 50s people in their 50s, 40s, and young clients. Maybe my youngest client is in their early 20s. So I
Okay.
just found that with young clients, I feel like I have a bigger impact. And then
Hmm.
especially the younger women clients I have, then I feel like I'm an older sister to them, so I do a part of life coaching with them too, because then money is such a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
So actually recently a client of mine, she was actually asking me about doing something, and then it was really personal, and then
Hmm.
so I had to do, like, be like an older sister life coaching with her. So I was really glad that she talked to me about it, because it involved money, lots of money to spend on, and she
Right.
just got out of debt. So I'm glad that
Oh,
I was
awesome.
there for her to guide her. Like, we had to work through that. Like, why do you need this? Like, so it turns out actually, at the end of the day, it's just really like we had to work on her self-esteem issue. She needed something because, like, she felt that it was going to help her self-esteem issue. So we're working on that one. So I was able to talk her out of not spending that $16,000, while we're working on other stuff first. So yeah. So
Okay.
it's just yeah, it's just that there, like, I just feel like I have been there, in my 20s, and then, I'm not in my 20s anymore, I'm in my 30s. So like I just feel like there's so much I have gone there, and I just want to also help the young women as well. So those are my ideal clients, but doesn't mean that I'm going to turn people away. But I just feel like I just have more of a connection with them, because, like, I'm
Hmm.
like, they're like my younger sister, I'm like their older sister, and then I can make more of an impact with them. So
Perfect. And that brings an interesting comment here. Carmen Hart Solomon is a friend of mine from when I went to college. She said,
mhm.
I hear budget and I think that I don't have time to organize one more thing, but I suppose I should. Do you think it's making the budgets the hardest part for people or sticking to it?
Both.
Okay.
So I do have an online course for budgeting, but
Okay.
I find that you have to be very, very motivated to even do that. Okay, so you have to be self motivated. For most people, they can't even, unless you know for yourself, you're self motivated, you know how to stick to it, you know how to change your habit, then go for it. The online budgeting course works for you. But for most people, it doesn't. You need an accountability partner. So to answer your question, Carmen, like, you said, yeah, budgeting is one more thing to organize. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I'm gonna compare that to food, right? So let's say you want to get healthy, okay?
Hmm.
So then it's something that you're gonna have to do for the rest of your life. Like, you can't
Hmm.
just be healthy 1 week or 1 month, like not eat sugar or whatever, or chips, whatever, and expect yourself to be healthy the
Hmm.
rest of your life. So you need that. So you have to prioritize money, that it is important enough for you to organize to have it part of your life. That's what having a good relationship with money is. Because if you do feel, oh my god, money is another thing, something to organize, like one more task to do, that just shows me, that tells me you don't have a good relationship with money. Something is going on there. So we're going to have
Hmm.
to explore what is going on there. So that's part of my job as a coach. we
Hmm.
ex- explore, why do you feel this like constraint, like another thing to budget, like to do, like I don't want to do that. So that's a big part of what I do. When we start budgeting, that's the first step. Lots of things always come up, sometimes like
Mhm.
next, I meet weekly with my client initially. So next, the following week, their homework is supposed to be track everything that you spent, everything. I make sure you have to track every single penny. Okay, so that's the
Mhm.
homework. And then usually in the beginning, this always happen in the beginning, like an hour before our call is the time they type everything. Oh, what did I spend the past week? And I'm like, no, you entirely defeat the purpose. No, you're
Yeah,
not
just track it
doing
all the
it.
time.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're not doing it as a homework for me. You have to
Mhm.
get into the mindset you're doing it for you. Okay, it's
Mhm.
not for me. I'm only here to guide you. And then
Yeah.
like when you sign up with me, it's either 4 session or 8 session, and I don't want you to stay with me forever. I mean, there are some clients who continue afterward because they found value in me helping them. But then
Mhm.
like I don't want you to be with me forever. Like I want you to be independent. So
Yeah.
that's why you have to get into the habit yourself, and you have to actually like it. It has to be sustainable for you. It has to be something that you actually enjoy, that you see the value of having an organized finances, of being aware of your finances. So you have to see all of that. It's my job to make
Mhm.
sure you see all that value so you can do it yourself, and you'll be happy to do it afterwards, even after working with me.
Do you think that was something that you innately had from your parents or something, or you learned it over time? Because I find that some people that are great with budgeting might have had their parents taught them how to have a bank account when they were 9 or something, versus other people had to learn the hard way. So how do you think you came to have that skill set?
Yeah, sure. So some coaches usually they get to become a coach because they had a troubled past. So for me, that wasn't what happened to me. I've always been very good with money already. So I'm proud of that, because I think with my culture, especially a lot of Asian, Chinese culture, we just come from a place where in, like, most of us grew up with, like, people, we were just very frugal, whatever. So I had a really good aunt that was actually, yeah, she's very good with money. My mom was frugal. My mom knew how to save. My dad was a spender, but that was an outlier. But
Right.
then my dad being a huge spender was actually the catalyst for me. Like, I don't want to end up like my dad, because my dad passed away bankrupt. He didn't have any money. He had poor
Mhm.
health. He died of diabetes. He died of a heart attack, and then he was broke. Okay,
Mhm.
so my mom and my aunt was actually a good role model for me. So I grew up already with that mindset, being frugal, and then like seeing my dad died, broke, made me, I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna be a businessman like him, like who does not have anything, doesn't know anything about money. So I
Yeah.
promised myself at a young age I won't be like that. So I've always just grew up very good. I was always aware of my money. I mean, granted, I wasn't that smart in everything, but I was always good with the budgeting. Like, and then in terms of, like, I'm Chinese but born and raised in the Philippines. We don't have the
Mhm.
concept of credit card. Everything's by cash. So I was
Ah.
really surprised when I moved here, and then like, and I'm like, wow, like America is a country of consumer debt. Like, okay, you have this
Yes.
credit card, charge, and then, oh, you only have to pay the minimum. So that's why it's so easy for people to get into debt, because they don't get into this concept of you only spend what you have. So if it's cash, you only spend what you have cash on. Credit card, if
Mhm.
you only spend up to your credit limit, and then you don't
Yeah.
even have to pay back, but just the minimum. So it's just the way the culture works here, and also there's no financial literacy. And then, like, a lot of my clients who have problems with money, they come from a past where, in like, their parents just never taught them that. They just never
Mhm.
came from an environment, so it's not really their fault. So we have to train them, we have to teach them, and all of that. And financial literacy will just never be taught in school, and I don't know if it will ever happen, because
I
that's
don't think it
kind of
ever
up to
will.
you.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
defeats the purpose of the debt machine. I mean, if they teach
Yep.
it in school, less people will be in debt. And then
Yep.
Karma had a quick comment. She said, "Christine is reading my mail, and I am not mad." So you spoke
I
to her
read her
spirit.
comment right there, but I'm
Yeah, so I didn't know the Philippines didn't have credit cards. I never knew that. I used to live in Las Vegas, and they have a lot of Filipinos there, and I had no clue that credit cards didn't even exist in the Philippines.
Um, So I moved here back in 2000, and then I went back in 2012 for vacation, and then when I went back, credit cards starting to become more common, but then it's cash is still prevalent. Like when I went
Mm,
to Japan 2 years ago for vacation, right? So I mean, you can still use credit card, but cash is still prevalent. So in Asia, for most Asian countries, cash is still the king in most of those countries. So that's why you see in Asian countries they don't have a lot of credit card problems. Like Singapore, my friends in Singapore, they're all about, they don't even like, I think someone told me that they don't even look at your credit score when you're getting a mortgage or something like that. Because then,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
but here it's your credit score is so critical
It's
because
everything. Yeah.
they have to see, like, are you being responsible with your finances. They even check that now when you're looking for a job. I heard. I'm like, well, I
Yeah,
haven't
some
looked for a
jobs
job
do
in a
that.
while, but yeah,
Well,
yeah. So it's
interesting. So
crazy.
you mentioned financial literacy. Is that something that these other cultures you've been to, they teach that in either at home or at school, or is it just something kind of a family thing that kind of happens?
It's a family thing. Everything starts with your family. Wherever you are raised, you were raised by your foster family, adopted family. It all starts with your family. That's why I think, like, if I mean, I don't have kids. I will never have kids. But I was just like, if I think for people with kids, especially with my clients, I always encourage them, start them young. As like
Yeah.
when they get to the maturity of, like, they can kind of understand some things. I don't know how old, but start them young. Like, for example, okay, if you do this chore, then that will earn you this much allowance or whatever. So they don't start taking it for granted. So as early as you can, that you know start teaching them the concept of savings. And when I went, someone actually asked me. I talked twice at the high school, like, one for high school graduate, one for like middle school going to high school. So
Okay.
they I was talking about, actually, I'm glad, like, some schools are actually having this initiative during the summer. They
Hmm.
invite people to actually come and talk to teach them life skills. So I think that's the
Okay.
best we can do when it comes to some schools. So I'm glad some schools are doing that. So I did that, and then, like, it was literally funny. Like, some of their questions were like, yeah, I wanna save for a house, blah blah. And they even asked me about credit card rate. Oh, like, how much credit limit do I need, whatever. And then I'm like, yeah, like they don't understand the concept yet of credit card. So start them young. Like, I don't think they should even start on credit card till they understand the concept of cash first before
Yeah.
even opening a credit card. But like, they're really thinking about that, and I don't know, even some parents can probably co-sign for their kids already in high schoolers. So that's just gonna start the problem right there early.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. Well, with everything going on with COVID, I mean, the markets are going crazy. I mean, the oil market's down, the stock
Mhm.
market's going up and down like crazy, unemployment's going on. So,
Yeah.
I know we're not going to give specific financial advice, but we're looking at the way the economy is being affected by COVID-19. What is
Mhm.
something you're talking to your clients about with regard to that if they're looking at investing?
Mhm. Yeah. So with COVID-19, I mean, if you're I'm not self-employed. If you're employed, okay, whether self-employed or you're an employee, if you have cash already, you have your good emergency fund. Whether because it's COVID, I would advise, having 6 months to a year of cash. So if you have that and you're still on positive cash flow, after your paycheck, you're able to pay everything on, but you still have some extra, then yeah, I would go for it. Just invest, grow your wealth, because the market right now is on sale. So it's a good time to be in the market. So when the
Mm-hmm.
recession is over, then you have a lot of money already to grow your wealth. So
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the timeline, like, it's give or take every 10 years we have a recession. Last time was the housing bubble, right? So that was
Yeah.
2008, and then now, it's at least give or take about 10 years. So yeah, then I mean, if you have the cash, then take the dip, as like, you got to have a mindset like, yeah, it is on sale, then I want
Mm-hmm.
to get into the market. Because, like, you don't want to freak out and be like, sell, because once you sell, okay, all your money's gone, right? You don't own the share anymore, so you can actually have it, give it a chance to recover, so you don't own anymore. So that's why I don't even look at my investments right now, because, like, I will only get stressed. I'm only human, and I'll get stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, 10, 20% down. Like, it's like, what's the point in even looking? There's nothing I can do. So I
Mm-hmm.
focus on things I can control. So like right now, like, I feel like I'm at a good place with LinkedIn. So I'm gonna focus on Instagram. I want to grow on Instagram now. So I focus on my marketing. I focus on everything else, learning new things, whatever I can control. Because the COVID, you're just gonna have to, like, wait it out till the vaccination is out there. Because I just don't think there's any hope right now till there's there's vaccination is out there, because we're just gonna keep spreading it out unless we
Mhm.
actually really, really cure, like, get the last person with the virus. But I find it very hard in, US, with, because it's very hard for you to control people.
Yes, I almost
Yeah.
wish the way your home country handled it definitely worked out better. I mean, because China was way lower on the
Mhm.
stats for COVID, even though people blame China for starting there, whether you believe it or not. It's still much lower infection rate than the U.S. So I know it's hard to control folks here, but it might be a good idea to do that because it obviously works in certain places.
Yep.
We had a comment from Michael W. Davis. Hey, Michael. He said, to my sister Christine, is it better to invest in stocks or real estate right now, or both during this volatile time?
Mhm. Yeah, I know Michael. Hi, Michael.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I saw his two questions. So basically, yeah, so I'm not an investment advisor, so I can't get into the details. But if you're asking me, if you're my client, you ask me that question, stocks or real estate. So how I go through that is that I will walk you through the options. What are the pros and cons in doing stocks? How that works. Make sure you understand. Again, I'm not going to recommend any individual stocks or whatever. And then real
Mhm.
estate, we're going to go through pros and cons. I'm not an expert with real estate investment, so I want you to do your research into doing that. But I can at least advise you on the tax stuff of real estate, because I'm a tax professional too. So that for me is what I will do. I'll walk you options, pros and
Mhm.
cons. Make sure you understand it. End of the day, you make the decision. I'm not gonna make the decision for you. I don't like making decision for my clients. So that's for the
Yeah.
first question. And I see he has another question. He said, besides Robert Kiyosaki,
Yep.
what other financial mentors have shaped your mentality on money being a good thing? So so to be honest with you, I don't really have any mentor besides my aunt. Like I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I read here and there, whatever. I know some popular coach, like for example Dave Ramsey. I'm not sure if you heard of him. So he's
Yep.
very popular coach, but I don't agree with all his philosophy, because he's
Yeah.
all about pay down all your debt, whatever. I think even though you're gonna be broke or homeless, just pay down your mortgage or whatever. So he's just so set in his ways, like just pay
Yeah.
down all your debt. So I disagree with that. So I have a mortgage and I'm on a 30-year loan. My
Mhm.
interest rate is 3.625%. And then there's a mortgage interest deduction. So effectively, I think it cost me probably 3.5% for
Yeah.
to after so if I have $1,000 extra cash, what do you think I'll do? Should I pay down my mortgage or invest in the market? Okay, I'm not
Depends on the
talking about
return
just
you get. Yeah. That's why I'm the same with you. If you're gonna get 5% investing versus
exactly,
paying 3%
exactly.
interest, I'll
Yes,
take the
yes,
investment
yes.
all day.
Yes, and I am fine riding out my 30-year mortgage. But then if you talk to with a Dave Ramsey fanatic, they will argue the heck out of you, saying how could you want to be in debt for 30 years, blah blah. So there's like no point. It's like your way or the highway type. So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
fine. But then, like, the things that if my client asks me that question, I always go by, this is why I did what I did, this is my philosophy. And then I ask them, it's like, what do you want? Will paying the mortgage make you feel good? Like, so it all depends on the person, and then
Yeah.
what do they know about investment. And then, like, if it's really really important to them, then we're also gonna dig deep. It's like, why is that so important? Why do you have a negative connotation towards debt? So
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of, like, me as an Asia born and raised, Asian culture, Chinese, then we are nobody wants debt too. We're all about paying it off. So kind of me, what I just told you is just really different from what people would normally do as well. So I always think in a way, like, yeah, basically,
I think you're
yeah.
thinking numbers. I mean, just not to cut you off, I think you're looking at the numbers. It sounds like more so than the conceptual thing. I mean, that cash flow with the taxes versus the investment versus a mortgage. That's
Mhm,
just math at that point. Like the math is better
mhm,
for the investment than the interest you're paying. So I think it's a logical way to think about it. Versus culturally, you might kind of get put into a box because my culture says this, but
yeah,
Dave Ramsey culture says this. But if you're going to look at the numbers, I'm all about if it's more return on the investment than the
yep,
mortgage. Why not? Because I mean, the cost of money when mortgage rates were like 10% or something,
mhm.
yes, that was a bad idea to have that.
Yes,
But when it's
then
2 to
pay
three
your
percent,
mortgage off.
yeah, pay it off. You get like a variable, and I think that's what happened when we had the real estate bubble. There was
Yeah.
interest rates of like 10, 20, 30% sometimes.
Hmm.
So that's where I think a lot of that came from. It was bad. But
Mhm.
when it's 3%, or it's probably even lower now since the Fed's cut the interest rate,
Mhm.
go ahead and get the mortgage. But I had a question too. How much do you think people look at the tax side? Because when you're looking at building wealth, is that a
Mhm.
big part people miss, the tax side?
Mhm. Building wealth. Yeah. So a lot of them. So most people who wants to build wealth, a lot of them, the reason is they want to retire early. Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of them. So then when you retire, then you have to understand the taxable consequences of all the different retirement income. Okay, so that's
Okay.
very important. People don't understand that. So when you retire, what are your income sources, right? So generally for a lot of people, you have your savings. Okay, then you have your investments outside of retirement. Then you have your retirement, either traditional or Roth retirement. So 401k or IRA tradition, is only traditional or Roth. And then you have your social security if you have
Mhm.
one. And
Yep.
then that's generally for most people. So some people they might have retirement fund or whatever, not retirement fund. They might have rental properties and stuff like that. For most people, that's that. Then you have to understand what are the taxable consequences of each. How is your savings account gonna be taxed? How is your retirement gonna be taxed? The tradition and the Roth. How is your social security gonna be taxed? How is your investment gonna be taxed? So you have to understand how you're gonna get all your money back. So like when you plan your retirement, then you plan it out based on the different ways it's gonna be taxed during retirement. So that's part of tax planning and retirement planning.
I can see that. I talk about with life insurance, for example. We'll talk to people about using life insurance as a tax-free source of income because the funds you pull from life insurance aren't taxed. And a lot of people don't get that concept. So we always ask them, do you think taxes will go up and down or in the future? And everybody thinks
Mhm.
taxes will go up. So you do got to think about what is a tax implication for retirement. So I'm glad you're teaching people that.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
Definitely not taught in school. And I have an accounting degree and they didn't talk about that in accounting school. So I understand that.
yep, yep.
Michael had a comment. He said, I agree. Haha, Dave can take it too far sometimes. I agree on what Robert Kiyosaki says, and that rich people use debt as leverage, especially for real estate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I have my opinion about that. I mean, that's Robert Kiyosaki's opinion about that leverage, use debt to leverage, especially for real estate. I mean, I have no problem with my debt for my mortgage, but in terms of like some people want to keep using debt more and more real estate, so that's really up to them, and then we have to look at
Mhm.
their finances. Because I've had clients who come to me, they have two houses, but then they're broke, they can't afford it. And then like
Mhm.
one of them, like they live here in Silicon Valley. One of them has a one the first house they had was less than $1 million. The second house they had was $2 million. So of
Oh
course this
man.
was a big house on a hill. And then they're like, when we're looking at the budget, and then she kind of what initially when she reached out to me, she's like, you know what? I have I don't know. I always feel like we never have money at the end of the month. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and then they make very good money, of course. They're Silicon Valley employees. And then when we actually look at their budget, they can't afford both houses. So they
Mhm.
literally, based on the numbers I showed them, and I said, well, you have a choice. Either you're gonna keep on being negative every single month to keep these two houses,
Mhm.
or you're gonna have to decide to sell one of the houses. So they
Mhm.
end up selling the bigger house, the $2 million houses, and they actually downgrade to the smaller house because they just couldn't afford it. So some people just get caught up with it, but end of the day, you have to look, can you afford it? And then mortgage company, they don't care if you afford that. I wish like realtor and mortgage broker, like before you even get approved, I wish they would say, okay, talk to a financial coach first or something, work through your budget first, and then see,
Yeah.
can you afford it? Most people
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah. All they do
Yeah.
is that not cash flow now. So they do a quick thing. They look at your credit debts. They look at
Hmm.
that first, and they let's look at the credit and then say what you can afford versus all the things you spend money on that might not be credited. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that for people. I wanted
Yeah.
to fit some time for LinkedIn because obviously a lot of people get on LinkedIn and trying to kind of grow their expansion, grow their followership. So for you, you started in you said September last year.
Hmm.
So what are some things when you're coaching people? I know we talked about the financial side. What are
Hmm.
some things on the LinkedIn side you're coaching people to do to help grow their LinkedIn follower base?
Yeah, so really, I mean, it's not a secret formula. You have to take the time, like, so like having a relationship with money, you're having a relationship with LinkedIn. So the
Mm,
more time you spend, the more time you are actually on the platform, engaging with people, supporting people. You have to support people. It's not just about you. Like, if I just post my content and I don't go out there supporting and engaging with people, I don't think I'm gonna keep growing, because then it's like you're just being self-centered. You're just waiting for people to come to you, and then like, and you're just responding to your comments. So I go out there, I go to my news feed, I engage with people. I don't even care how many followers they have. Like, I scroll through it, I'm like, oh yeah, I like their message, then I'll say something. And then if
Right.
it's someone like I'm just annoyed, I don't want to see their content anymore, then I just unfollow them. So you have to constantly clean your news feed up too. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's that's like the number one, well, not really secret, but the number one thing you want to do is engaging. I mean, if you just browse LinkedIn for a while, you'll see people who are successful. They always tell you engage, and then it's the same. It's really the same algorithm for any platform.
Hmm.
Like Instagram is about engaging, Facebook is about engaging, and then each platform, they don't like you taking people out of their platform. Like if you put external links, like to take them
Yes.
to whatever, they don't like that, right? They push that down the algorithm. So each platform is the same, except that some might not work the same. Like for example, LinkedIn. The good thing about LinkedIn is that if you have supporter with high influencers comment on your stuff, then their followers can also see your stuff. So that's the beauty of
Correct.
it. Instagram, no. Like if like
Uh,
someone with high following actually comment on my stuff on Instagram, nobody can see it unless that specific person follow me, unless they actually share your post on their story or on their feed,
uh,
then they can see you. So it there's the slightly different way they work, but end of the day, the engagement part is the same for any social media platform.
and
They
that's kind of
want you to
opposite
stay.
LinkedIn, actually. Because I mean, on LinkedIn, when you share somebody else's content, it only benefits the person you shared it for, not you.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. They're both backwards, and all I use is LinkedIn. So you're teaching me on Instagram. People keep saying I should get on there, but I'm staying here, I guess. So the relationship seems like the biggest thing. So the relationship, you're looking at these relationships with tax, with money, with LinkedIn. Are you looking at a weekly, quarterly, monthly? How often are you looking at these relationships?
Um, Pretty regularly. So like I think like so I'm a big believer about you have to have a great relationship with yourself first. Everything stems from that. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
consider myself a spiritual person. So I'm constantly being self-aware. Like, like people always ask, so how do you manage your time, whatever? So it's like I just have to ask myself, I just like, do I feel good? Am I starting to feel stressed? Like I know myself after having so many calls, like I can only do 3 calls a day. I'm like, you know what? I'm spent. Like I don't want to do
Yeah.
it. I just want to veg. So it's all about you knowing yourself. So it's
Mm.
it's all about self-awareness, what works for you, what time works for you, how your schedule looks like. So you have to really understand yourself. You have to go with what makes you feel good. Like every day, my motto is about do things that make you happy every single day. Okay, so that's important, because if you have that good relationship with money, with yourself, like everything else, that it's the same concept. You have to have good relationship with everything else. So it's kind of regular thing. I don't really think about it, but it's just a daily thing that, like, I if I'm starting to feel, oh, I'm not feeling good about something, so that's a part of self-awareness come in. It's like, what is it I don't feel good about? So then you pinpoint to that, and then what can be improved about that. So yeah, it's all boils down self-awareness. That's why spirituality, I think, is so important. Everyone needs a spiritual practice.
Hmm.
Mm.
Whatever you think that spiritual practice is, it could be church,
Yep.
it could be praying,
Yes.
meditation,
Yep. Yeah. I
reading,
don't judge
whatever it is.
people, like by the religion, whatever, but as long as you have a spiritual practice. Like, it was really funny. Like, I know in the Philippines, like some of my friends are very religious. So when I start telling them I'm getting into spirituality, and then they just think that it's like the work of the devil or something. I was like, and then okay, then I'm not judging you if you're religious. Just don't judge me that I'm getting into, like, spirituality, because like that.
Yeah.
And then she literally gave me a Bible to read. I'm like, okay,
Oh
thank
Lord,
you.
I can do a whole discussion about that, but to keep it to not get us blocked or get negative comments, it's just
Yeah.
there's all these things have higher powers tied to the same thing. So whatever way you
Yep.
believe it, it's all the same thing essentially.
Yep. Exactly.
So be mindful of your time. I know you had a call earlier, so I'm going into your spent zone, using all your energy up. But with COVID-19, so there's
Mhm.
panic financially, obviously going on.
Mhm.
So would you say this is a good sign for people to kind of get a financial coach, essentially have more free time? Like this is a time to kind of look at those things and get that house
Mhm.
in order?
Yeah, I mean, regardless of if COVID, any economic crisis happens or whatever, it's always a good time. If you feel like you're not confident about your finances, then reach out. You can always need some financial coaching help. And then And then if you feel like you can't afford a coaching, then I always work with an installment plan. I focus more on, are you committed? If you're really committed, I will work with you, like however you want to pay, because I'm not, it's the reason like I charge money is for you to see that they're committed, because I used to charge very low initially. What I
Mm-hmm.
found was that I was attracting clients who was not serious about their work. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really funny. You want to help people, but at the same time, if you charge too little, you attract the wrong people too. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
funny. So I was like, I like, I'm at a set point where I'm comfortable, but at the same time, it's a client's very committed. If they say they can't afford it, we'll work things out. As long as you really want to change, then
Mm-hmm.
I will make it work for you. So yes, definitely. I mean, if anytime, regardless of the COVID, coronavirus, housing bubble, whatever, if you don't feel you're at a good place financially, then reach out. Reach out to a financial professional, a coach, advisor, and then if you work with an advisor, make sure that they care about you. It's not just
Yeah.
about, hey, give me your money, I'll manage it for you. Like a lot of old school people are like that, but you can see there's new advisors now who think in the newer age that they don't think like that. So just
Mm-hmm.
just get comfortable with them, interview them, follow them on social media, get to know their personality, just get to know them. If you're comfortable with them, then I think it will be one of your best investment. If you have that great foundation, it will last you a lifetime.
Perfect. And one last question on that. So I'm sure you don't give investment advice, but I think you probably have a network of people when you have a client that says, "Hey, I want to get into investing. Hey, I want to get in real estate." You probably have some people you vetted out to kind of say talk the bill based on your personality profile. Is that right for
Mhm.
you?
Yeah, I do have some, know some advisors and stuff like that, but I don't know. I tend to attract clients lately who are very independent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they want to manage their own investments. So basically, I teach them how investments work, what is ETF, what stocks, what's retirement target fund, all of that. And then sometimes they might end up signing up for Betterment or Wealthfront, an automated robo system, or
Mm-hmm.
they figure it out themselves. Like, I explain it to them in a way that they understand, and then they
Yeah.
know what to do. I mean, it's not really rocket science. So once you understand how it works, you don't have to pay someone 1% to manage your money. Like, take the time, invest in a coach or someone to teach you, and then you don't ever have to pay someone 1% every single year, and they will charge you regardless if it goes up and down. So you go down 20%, they're still gonna charge you 1% on top of that.
Yeah, it's funny. I hear you say those things. I've used Betterment before. I use Motif for some stuff right now.
Mhm.
Robinhood. So I'm that person that uses the automated stuff too.
Yep,
But
yep.
Christina, I appreciate your time. I know you're going to get back to the regular day. So how can people find you if they need more information about your coaching services or tax planning or even LinkedIn coaching? How can they find you?
Yeah, just connect with me on LinkedIn, and I think you tag me on the LinkedIn live. So just connect with me, and then yeah, I accept all connection right now, because like I still have 10,000 more connections to go before I max out. So feel free to connect with me if you want to reach out. And then yeah, when you go to my profile, you'll find my website. So just go to my website, www.teh Financial Coaching, TEH Financial Coaching. So that's my last name, Financial Coaching. I know people are like, is that the Financial Coaching? No, it's my last name, Financial Coaching. Yeah.
Well, thanks for clarifying for the people that didn't know. So I appreciate your time. You be safe out there, everybody. Wash your hands and stay healthy.
Yep.
And thanks for joining us for this edition of Business with Benefits.
Yeah, thank you.